Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is Aditi Lumba with the evening news. The headlines. Cyclone Nivar likely to hit Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coasts between Karaikal and Mamallapuram after midnight. Evacuation efforts in full swing. Cabinet approves infusion of 6,000 crore rupees in National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. Lakshmi Vilas Bank to be merged with DBS Bank India Limited. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says soft power of India can change its image worldwide. Home Ministry issues guidelines for COVID-19 surveillance, containment and caution from 1st to 31st December. And New Zealand's Greg Barclay elected as new chairman of International Cricket Council. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The severe cyclonic storm Nivar in the Bay of Bengal has further intensified into a very severe cyclonic storm this evening. Under its impact, heavy and incessant rain is pounding Chennai and its suburbs and several other districts in Tamil Nadu, coupled with ferocious winds. The Met Department has said that the weather system has moved west-northwestwards with a speed of 11 kilometers per hour during the past 6 hours and lay centered at about 90 kilometers east-southeast of Cuddalore, 115 kilometers east-southeast of Puducherry and 185 kilometers south-southeast of Chennai. It is set to move northwestwards and hit Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coasts between Karaikal and Mamallapuram, close to Puducherry during the midnight tonight and early hours of tomorrow as a very severe cyclonic storm with a wind speed of 120 to 130 kilometers per hour, gusting to 145 kilometers per hour. Moderate to heavy rain has been experienced in most districts and is set to continue till tomorrow. North Chennai witnessed a maximum of 16 centimeter rain in the last 24 hours. As the sea is rough, fishermen have stayed off the seas. The Greater Chennai Corporation, the Chennai Metro Water and all the district administrations that fall under the vicinity of the cyclone have announced separate helpline numbers for the public to address their grievances. They have established separate control rooms that function 24/7. The state police have also installed control rooms in the districts to coordinate rescue and relief efforts. In addition, the State Disaster Management Authority is operating an emergency control room in Chennai, which is functional for the past many days in a seamless fashion. The Tamil Nadu government has announced holiday tomorrow for 13 districts that lie on the path of the cyclone, including Chennai and its suburbs. Today is a holiday for the whole state. Heavy rain is expected to lash at least 5 north interior districts tomorrow and moderate rain in other places. The chief of the India Meteorology Department in Chennai, Dr. Balachandran, told reporters that the cyclone will start weakening 6 hours after its landfall and its impact will be felt in the region until 15 hours after its landfall. More from our correspondent.
The officials have asked the public to remain indoors during the landfall of the cyclone. All the district administrations in the vicinity of the cyclone have said sufficient number of relief centers and shelters have been arranged with enough space to follow social distancing norms. The defense forces have also kept their assets and teams prepared to join hands with the state governments in rescue and relief operations. Public transport in the vulnerable districts have been suspended. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Edappadi Palaniswamy reviewed the Chembrambakam Lake near Chennai, from where the surplus water is being let off into the river Adayar that traverses through Chennai. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
In view of the severe cyclonic storm Nivar, the regional news unit of the public broadcaster All India Radio in Chennai is mounting special news bulletins. They are of 5-minute duration each and will be broadcast for every half an hour. As the landfall of the cyclone is set to go on till tomorrow morning, the special bulletins are being broadcast from 5 p.m. today till 6 a.m. tomorrow. The news bulletins are being carried in FM Rainbow and the Prime channels. Most of the regions falling in the vicinity of the cyclone face power shutdown. The radio news is expected to be the major source of reliable news in most cases, the only source for the public to get reliable information on the cyclone's course and the mitigation efforts of the administration during the time of the cyclone.
Coastal Puducherry is bracing for Cyclone Niva, which has intensified further into a very severe cyclonic storm. More from our correspondent.
With the prohibitory order under Section 144 CRPC in force, Puducherry wore a deserted look. All vehicles were off the road and people remained indoors, being a public holiday today. Southern Railway cancelled some train services fully and some partially. Meanwhile, the Development Commissioner Anbarasu informed the press that the administration had put up camps to shelter people who are being evacuated from the coastal areas. Mr. Anbarasu also said that while all the fishermen from Puducherry who ventured into the sea returned, those in 10 boats from Karaikal are yet to reach the shore. The district administration announced emergency numbers for the public during the impact of the cyclone Nivar. Apart from the general number 100, 101, 112 and 1031, 104 is for medical and 108 for ambulance support and 1070 and 1077 for emergency natural disaster relief. The electricity department can be reached on 233-9532 or toll-free line 1800-425-1912. For Karaikal, free helpline numbers are 1070 1077. Control room number is 04368 228801 227704. Chandramohan, Air News, Puducherry.
Cyclone Nivar's impact is visible in Sri Potti, Srimulu, Nellore district of Andhra Pradesh. NDRF teams have been deployed in Andhra Pradesh for relief and rescue operations. The IMD Amravati says moderate rains or thunderstorms are very likely over entire AP, with isolated heavy to very heavy rains at one or two places at south coastal Andhra Pradesh and Rayalaseema. Extremely heavy rain to occur at Sri Potti, Srimulu, Nellore and Chittoor districts today and at Kurnool tomorrow. Met Department has said Cyclone Nivar has the potential to cause extensive damage. Talking exclusively to AIR News, DG IMD, Dr. Mrityunjay Mohapatra said it can have 3 times the hazardous outcomes: extremely heavy rainfall, very strong winds and tidal wave from the sea. He added that the intensity of rainfall will increase as the cyclone gets nearer to landfall. He said trees may get uprooted and crops can get damaged on a large scale. He said road, rail and air traffic will also be affected.
साइक्लोन निवार मध्य रात को और अर्ली आवर्स के टाइम ये तट को पार करेगा। जब ये तट को पार करेगा ये एक वेरी सीवियर साइक्लोन स्टॉर्म होगा और इसका विंड स्पीड 120 से 130 किलोमीटर पर आवर, गस्टिंग टू 145 किलोमीटर पर आवर होगा। ये हेवी रेनफॉल का इंटेंसिटी धीरे धीरे बढ़ेगा जैसे साइक्लोन तट के आसपास होगा और कुछ इलाका में हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल होने के साथ साथ आइसोलेटेड प्लेसेस में एक्सट्रीमली हेवी रेनफॉल हो सकता है नॉर्थ तमिलनाडु एरिया पे। इसके साथ साथ जो साउथ आंध्र प्रदेश का इलाका है वहाँ भी हेवी टू वेरी हेवी रेनफॉल और स्पेशली नेल्लोर और चित्तूर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में भी एक्सट्रीमली हेवी रेनफॉल हो सकता है। 26 तारीख को ये रेनफॉल बेल्ट नॉर्थवर्ड शिफ्ट होगा जैसे लैंडफॉल होने के बाद अंदर जाएगा साइक्लोन, इसलिए 26 तारीख को रेनफॉल बहुत सारे डिक्रीज हो जाएगा तमिलनाडु में, मगर आंध्र प्रदेश में ज्यादा रेनफॉल 26 तारीख को होगा।
Mr. Mohapatra said warnings are being issued every 3 hours. He said action is being taken at the highest level in coordination with all concerned agencies. Talking to AIR News, Deputy Commandant in NDRF, Rakesh Ranjan said, evacuation efforts are going on in full swing in close coordination with all concerned agencies. He added that 25 NDRF teams have been deployed, out of which 15 are in Tamil Nadu, 4 in Puducherry and 6 in Andhra Pradesh.
एनडीआरएफ और अन्य एजेंसियां चक्रवात निवार की दिशा और स्वरूप पर नजर रख रही हैं। सभी टीमें वहां के स्थानीय प्रशासन के साथ मिलकर एवं सामंजस्य में कार्य कर रही हैं, जिसमें कोविड-19 के संबंध में जानकारी, साइक्लोन इसमें क्या करें क्या ना करें उसके बारे में जानकारी देना और प्रभावित इलाकों से लोगों को निकाला जा रहा है। साथ में एनडीआरएफ ने यह भी वहां के लोगों के बीच में सूचना फैलाई है कि हमारी टीमें मौजूद हैं और जब तक स्थिति सामान्य न रहेगी उनकी सहायता में हमारी टीमें उपलब्ध हैं।
Union Cabinet has approved equity infusion by government of 6,000 crore rupees in NIIF debt platform sponsored by National Investment and Infrastructure Fund comprising of ASEEM Infrastructure Finance Limited and NIIF Infrastructure Finance Limited. This was one of the 12 key measures announced by Finance Minister as part of government's stimulus to the economy under Atmanirbhar Bharat 3.0 on 12th November. Speaking to reporters in New Delhi about cabinet decisions, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said that the NIIF Infrastructure Debt Financing Platform is expected to contribute nearly 1 lakh crore rupees in debt to the infrastructure sector over the next 5 years.
Government will invest 6,000 crore. NIIF will mobilize 7,000 crore rupees as equity, and it will mobilize from bond market all over the world nearly 1 lakh crore rupees. Thus, it will provide in the first tranche 1,10,000 crore rupees for infrastructure development company. This will be done through two companies, Asim Infra Finance Limited, which will finance greenfield and brownfield projects, and NIIF IFL will finance mature operating assets.
This will act as a catalyst in attracting more investments into the infrastructure sector as envisaged in the National Infrastructure Pipeline. Union Cabinet also approved scheme of merger of Lakshmi Vilas Bank LVB with DBS Bank India Limited. Mr. Javadekar said speedy merger and resolution of the stress in LVB is in line with the government's commitment to a clean banking system while protecting the interests of depositors and the public as well as the financial system.
डिपॉजिटर को अब कोई चिंता करने की जरूरत नहीं, बैंक में दौड़ने की जरूरत नहीं, क्योंकि एक बहुत अच्छे बैंक में जिनका बैलेंस शीट अच्छा है, जिनका कैपिटल एडेक्वेसी अच्छी है, जिनका अंतर्राष्ट्रीय प्रेजेंस है, ऐसे बैंक के साथ उनका अमालगमेशन जो हो रहा है, उससे सारे 20 लाख डिपॉजिटर्स को सुरक्षा मिलेगी. अब उनको दौड़ के अपना पैसा निकालने की जरूरत नहीं, लेकिन जो भी निकालना कुछ चाहता है वो कभी भी निकाल सकता है.
Customers, including depositors of the Lakshmi Vilas Bank Limited, will be able to operate their accounts as customers of DBS Bank India Limited with effect from 27th of this month. The moratorium on Lakshmi Vilas Bank Limited will cease to be operative from that date. Cabinet was apprised of a Memorandum of Understanding MOU on cooperation in the field of physical culture and sports signed among BRICS countries. Cooperation in the field of sports among the 5 countries will help in expanding knowledge and expertise in the area of sports science, sports medicine and coaching techniques. This would result in improvement in performance of Indian sportspersons in international tournaments and strengthening our bilateral relations with BRICS member countries. Mr. Javadekar also informed that CCEA has approved FDI of 2,480 crore rupees in Messrs ATC Telecom Infrastructure Private Limited by Messrs ATC Asia Pacific Private Limited. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said that the soft power of India can strengthen the country's image worldwide, just like the yoga has done. The Prime Minister was speaking at the celebration of Centennial Foundation Day of University of Lucknow via video conferencing this evening. The university is celebrating its 100th year of establishment.
भारत की सॉफ्ट पावर अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जगत में भारत की छवि मजबूत करने में बहुत सहायक है. हमने देखा है पूरी दुनिया में योग की ताकत क्या है. कोई योग कहता होगा, कोई योगा कहता होगा, लेकिन पूरे विश्व को योग को अपना एक प्रकार से जीवन का हिस्सा बनाने के लिए प्रेरित कर दिया है.
Addressing the gathering of students, teachers and former students, the Prime Minister asserted that universities are not just a center of higher education, but they are a powerhouse of making characters and providing inspiration.
यूनिवर्सिटी सिर्फ उच्च शिक्षा का केंद्र भर नहीं होती. ये ऊंचे लक्ष्यों, ऊंचे संकल्पों को साधने की शक्ति को हासिल करने का भी एक बहुत बड़ा पावर हाउस होता है, एक बहुत बड़ी ऊर्जा भूमि होती है, प्रेरणा भूमि होती है. यह हमारे कैरेक्टर के निर्माण का, हमारे भीतर की ताकत को जगाने की प्रेरणा स्थली भी है.
He said that for a long time we have not used the full capacity of our strength, and it was also the case in governance. Mr. Modi mentioned the rail coach factory of Raebareli and said that many things were announced but nothing was done at the ground till 2014 when his government used the capacity of the factory, and then within few months it started producing coaches and it will soon be a global hub. The Prime Minister said that willpower can change the situations that can be understood by the way urea was being produced earlier and how the production in full capacity and neem coating has benefited the farmers. He said that the government is going to restart many factories in Uttar Pradesh with the help of technology which were closed earlier. Hailing the role of students and teachers during Corona period, the Prime Minister suggested that universities should do research, branding and value addition to the products famous in those districts which are under educational ambit of university. This will help the government in framing the policies, and it will help the One District, One Product scheme. The Prime Minister called upon students and teachers to discuss new education policy. He also suggested the students to spare time for introspection and said that they must spare time for themselves and talk with self. The Prime Minister unveiled the university's centennial commemorative coin on the occasion. He also released a special commemorative postal stamp issued by India Post and its special cover during the event. Defence Minister and local MP Rajnath Singh and Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh Yogi Adityanath were virtually present on the occasion. Alok Kumar, Vice-Chancellor of Lucknow University, said that during centennial year, many initiatives were taken by the university.
Home Minister Amit Shah today chaired the first meeting of National Implementation Committee on India at 75. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Cultural Minister Prahlad Singh Patel also attended the meeting. Communications Ministry today said all fixed to mobile calls will be dialed with prefix 0 from 15 January next year. There will be no change in dialing plan from fixed to fixed, mobile to fixed and mobile to mobile calls. You're listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Cyclone Nivar likely to hit Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coast between Karaikal and Mamallapuram after midnight. Evacuation efforts in full swing. Cabinet approves infusion of 6,000 crore rupees in National Investment and Infrastructure Fund. Lakshmi Vilas Bank to be merged with DBS Bank India Limited. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says soft power of India can change its image worldwide. Home Ministry issues guidelines for COVID-19 surveillance, containment and caution from 1st to 31st December, and New Zealand's Greg Barclay elected as new chairman of International Cricket Council. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
To get accurate, reliable and wide coverage of news, tune into AIR News 24/7 and FM Gold and listen to the major bulletins at 8:30 AM, 2 PM and 8:30 PM in English and 8 AM, 2:30 PM and 8 PM in Hindi of half an hour each.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो खुद से वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
Home Ministry has issued an order today with guidelines for surveillance, containment and caution which will be effective from the 1st of December and remain in force up to 31st December. The main focus of the guidelines is to consolidate the substantial gains that have been achieved against the spread of COVID-19, which is visible in the steady decline in number of active cases in the country. Further, keeping in view the recent spike in new cases in few states and UTs, it has been emphasized that there is a need to maintain caution and strictly follow the prescribed containment strategy. Local district police, municipal authorities shall be responsible to ensure that the prescribed containment measures are strictly followed. States and UTs, based on their assessment of the situation, may impose local restrictions with a view to contain the spread of COVID-19. States and UTs, based on their assessment of the situation, may impose local restrictions with a view to contain the spread of COVID-19, such as night curfew. However, state and UT government shall not impose any local lockdown outside the containment zones without prior consultations with the central government. There shall be no restriction on interstate and intrastate movement of persons and goods, including those for cross-land border trade under treaties with neighbouring countries. No separate permissions, approval or e-permit will be required for such movements. India has leaped across a significant milestone in its fight against COVID. The number of new daily cases have been below the 50,000 mark for 18 consecutive days. In the last 24 hours, nearly 44,000 new confirmed cases were reported, while nearly 38,000 people recovered successfully in the same time span. With cumulative recovery of more than 86,42,000 people so far, the national recovery rate has reached 93.72%. The recovered cases in the country stand at nearly 20 times the number of active cases. The active case load of the country also continues to remain below 5%.
In Maharashtra, as the SOPs for passengers travelling to the state from Delhi, Gujarat, Rajasthan and Goa are coming into effect, intense screening is being done at various checkposts and railway stations. A special healthcare centre has been set up in Nashik to screen passengers coming from the 4 states. The Nashik Municipal Corporation has set up a 24/7 screening centre for arriving passengers at the railway station. Besides, the screening centres have been set up at Manmad, Lasalgaon, Nandgaon, Deolali and Igatpuri as well. At the Ozar Airport in Nashik too, screening centre has been set up. Screening of people was also done at the Hanu railway station in Palghar district for people arriving from neighbouring state of Gujarat. Prime Minister Narendra Modi chaired the Pragati meeting today. It marked Prime Minister's 33rd interaction through Pragati, the ICT-based multimodal platform for proactive governance and timely implementation involving central and state governments. In today's Pragati meeting, multiple projects, grievances and programs were reviewed. The projects taken up were of the Ministry of Railways, MORTH, DPIIT and Power Ministry. These projects, with a total cost of 1.41 lakh crore rupees, were related to 10 states and union territories, including Odisha, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Gujarat, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Dadar and Nagar Haveli. Prime Minister asked the concerned secretaries of the Union Government and chief secretaries of the state governments to ensure that they complete the work before time. Amid the growing number of corona cases, Uttar Pradesh government has imposed Essential Services Maintenance Act (ESMA) in the state. The order released in this regard says that the act will be imposed for 6 months. More from a correspondent.
The Uttar Pradesh Essential Services Maintenance Act 1966 prohibits strikes by employees in a long list of essential services like railways, airport, post and telegraph. It also bans the strike in government departments, government-run corporations and development authorities. Last time the act was invoked in state on 22nd May this year and the time period of 6 months had been expired. The order says that the state government is satisfied that it is necessary and expedient in the public interest to do so. The state is witnessing a surge in the cases of COVID infection and the order is being seen as a step to deal with this situation. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Constitution Day or Samvidhan Divas will be celebrated across the country tomorrow. The day is also known as National Law Day and commemorates the adoption of the Constitution in India. On 26 November in 1949, the Constituent Assembly of the country formally adopted the Constitution of India, which came into force on 26 January 1950. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment in the year 2015 notified the decision of the government to celebrate 26 November as Constitution Day. The day is celebrated to promote values of the Constitution among citizens. The day is also celebrated as a mark of tribute to India's first Law Minister Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who played a pivotal role in drafting the Constitution. AIR News brings you an excerpt of an archived speech of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar delivered in the Constituent Assembly on 17th December 1946.
And it is for that I propose to make this appeal. Let us leave aside slogans. Let us leave aside words which frighten people. Let us even make concession to the prejudices of our opponents. Bring them in so that they may willingly join with us on marching upon that road, which, as I said, if we walk long enough, must necessarily lead us to unity.
On the occasion of the 71st Constitution Day tomorrow, Films Division of the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting will be streaming 4 films on its website and YouTube channels. The films will be ranging from topics which include adoption of the Indian Constitution, its salient features and life of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will share his thoughts with the people in the country and abroad in the Mann Ki Baat program on All India Radio at 11 a.m. on Sunday. It will be the 71st episode of the monthly radio program. It will be broadcast on the entire network of AIR and Doordarshan and also on AIR News website, newsonair.com and News on AIR mobile app. It will also be streamed live on the YouTube channels of AIR, DD News, PMO and Information and Broadcasting Ministry.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi today released a book on the life and idols of Sri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said the book has been penned by Kirpal Singh, who is based in Chandigarh. New Zealand's Greg Barclay has been elected as the new independent chairman of the International Cricket Council (ICC). The head of the New Zealand cricket team, NZC, Barclay beat Imran Khwaja in the second round of voting. Imran was interim chairman after Shashank Manohar stepped down from the post in July this year. In the first round of voting last week, Barclay had 10 votes to Khwaja's 6 and needed 11 votes for a two-thirds majority of the 16-person ICC board. That vote arrived from Cricket South Africa in a second round of voting. Barclay is the second independent chairman of the world's body after Shashank Manohar of India.
Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has said that the fight against tuberculosis needs to be made into a Jan Andolan, a people's movement. He said an effective communication strategy is needed, which would focus on reaching the maximum population, complement with preventive, diagnostic and curative aspects of TB management. Dr. Harshvardhan was chairing a meeting with the various developmental partners working in the field of TB care and management in India. The Health Minister urged for a joint collaborative platforms where all the partners could join hands and forces together in elimination of tuberculosis by 2025 from India. The meeting also served as a platform to highlight the main areas in which advocacy by all the national and international organizations would help the country in its fight against TB. Kerala and West Bengal have communicated their acceptance of option 1 to meet the revenue shortfall arising out of GST implementation. The number of states who have chosen this option has gone up to 25. All the three union territories with Legislative Assembly, Delhi, Jammu and Kashmir and Puducherry, have also decided in favour of option 1. The states and union territories who choose option 1 are getting the amount of shortfall arising out of GST implementation through a special borrowing window put in place by the centre. In Jammu and Kashmir, snowfall in the upper reaches of Kashmir Valley is continuously reported, while plains of the Union Territory are experiencing intermittent rains since this morning. According to reports, 4 feet snow has accumulated on Sadhana Pass, which connects the border area, Karna with Kupwara, while as Machil Gali, Naugam and Bangas Valley have received 4 feet snow that have crippled the normal life in these remote areas of North Kashmir's Kupwara district. More than 2.5 feet fresh snow has also accumulated on the Hirpura Pirki Gali stretch, resulting into the continuous closure of the alternate road link Mughal Road that connects Kashmir Valley with the rest of the country.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. The national capital Delhi will have generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Temperature will hover between 10 and 23 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have mainly clear sky. Temperature will vary from between 21 and 32 degrees Celsius. In Chennai, rain and thunder showers would occur towards evening or night, and the temperature will hover between 24 and 30 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky. The city will observe minimum temperature of 18 degrees Celsius and a maximum of 27 degrees. Srinagar will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Temperature will hover between 1 degree Celsius and 9 degrees. In Jammu, the minimum temperature will be 12 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 21 degrees. The city will have partly cloudy sky, becoming generally cloudy towards evening or night. Leh is expected to have generally cloudy sky. The minimum temperature will be minus 6 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 1 degree. Gilgit will experience generally cloudy sky with temperature hovering between 0 degree to 7 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have partly cloudy sky. The temperature will hover from 3 to 12 degrees Celsius. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 12 and 21 degrees Celsius. Sky will be partly cloudy with possibility of development of thunder lightning. Chandigarh will have mainly clear sky. The temperature is likely to move from 14 to 22 degrees Celsius. In Hyderabad, the minimum temperature will be 17 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be 29 degrees. The city will have generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Cyclone Nivar likely to hit Tamil Nadu and Puducherry coasts between Karaikal and Mamallapuram after midnight. Evacuation efforts in full swing. Cabinet approves infusion of 6,000 crore rupees in National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, Lakshmi Vilas Bank to be merged with DBS Bank India Limited. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says soft power of India can change its image worldwide. Home Ministry issues guidelines for COVID-19 surveillance, containment and caution from 1st to 31st December, and New Zealand's Greg Barclay elected as new chairman of International Cricket Council. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.